I.S.U.P.K 53rd Annual Lord Passover.
53rd Annual Lord's Passover is going to be held down here in Florida.
It's going down.
You're here tonight to get a chance to be righteous enough to be worthy of God coming to save you.
That's right.
It's going down. The Lord's 53rd Annual Passover.
When we say we no cowards, we stop that business. We no cowards up in here.
Book your hotels now at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites, the IHG Hotel, 301 Tucker Lane, Cocoa Beach, Florida, 32926.
Here's a lot of men down. You dealing with the men of war. We at war. I sided with the Lord.
Y'all see this?
Comes with all your dishes, pots, and sports knives.
I kind of like this. This is like an apartment and a hotel room. You know what I mean? This here right here is about to be holy ground. It's going to be holy ground. All our beautiful, wonderful brothers and sisters from all over the world. You understand? We can boast that now. Brothers and sisters coming not only from every state, but from all over the world. I heard the numbers this year is ridiculous. We had to buy out the whole hotel.
Friday, April 15th at the Space Coast Convention Center.
My camp undefeated. You cannot debate. You just want the clout. We just want the grace. I'm just trying to get it.
This is going to be glorious.
What was in my blood? I'm a U.P.K creation. We don't give a fuck. You can see it in our faces. Got it out the mud. Straight up out the base.
At 1 West, Harlem in New York, and since 1969 we've been teaching that blacks, Hispanics and Native Indians are the real Israelites. In the Bible there's a chosen, in the Bible there's a chosen people of God. All throughout the Bible you read about a nation called the Israelites, and guess what? Blacks, Hispanics and Native Indians are those real Israelites, man. We're suffering for not following our God, man. The black man left his God for the mosque, and guess what? God is angry, man. The black man left his God for the church, and God is angry. And in these last days, blacks, Hispanics and Native Indians must return to their God, the God of Israel, man. The God that you read about in the Bible that chose one nation of people, and that's the Israelites. And that's you, black man. You are the people that God chose, man.
That's right.
You are the people that heard the voice of God and lived, man. You are the people that God saved in the time of Exodus. You can do the research. Israelites in the time of Exodus, they were black, man.
That's right.
The hieroglyphs say it, man. All the depictions of the Israelites on the walls, they was black like me and you, man. The Israelites have always been a black race of people.
That's right.
The problem is called racism, and many people don't like to acknowledge or don't want to accept that the chosen people of God have always been a dark-skinned race of people, man.
That's right.
Read that for me in Ephesians. Read that for me.
The book of Ephesians, chapter 5, verse 14. Wherefore he saith, awake thou that sleepest.
And that's the Bible, man. To blacks, Hispanics and Native Indians, God's saying, awake, man. Wake up, man. Look around. Race means something, man. But what happened? The church lied to us, man. The church brainwashed us and taught us that race does not mean anything. When life shows you race means something, man. Every nation is doing what? Fighting for their race, man. Every nation is doing what? Preserving their race. And there's one race that is trying to love everybody, man. There's one race that is trying to get along with everyone. There's one race that's trying to join the religions of everybody else, man. Why? Because we are not awake, man. We are asleep in that mosque, man. We are asleep in that church. And that's why we need to awake. Read on.
and arise from the dead.
And there, man, arise from the dead, man. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, we are dead, man. When we are in the mosque, we are dead, man. Arabs hate black people, man. And then we're in the mosque. What can that mean? We are dead, man. When there's a black man in the church, we are dead. Why? Because Europeans hate black people, man. They enslaved us for 400 years and paid us nothing, man. And then we join that church. What does it mean? We are dead, man. And guess what? God says, awake. The Lord, the God of Israel, wants black people to wake up, man. Read.
And Christ shall give thee light.
And with Christ, he will give us light, man. What's that light? A path, man. We're dead in darkness, and with the Lord, he will give us a path, man. And guess what? If you come into the I.S.U.P.K, you will find that light, man. You will find that way. Why? Because we've been lost for so long, man. We've been lost in that church for so long, man. We've been lost in that mosque for so long, man. And guess what? If we follow our King, the greatest example, we will have light, man. We will have that way. Read.
See then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise.
And the Bible's saying that we walk, and guess what? We walk wise, man.
That's right.
Understand this. Many people know who the real Israelites are, and no one says nothing, man.
That's right.
Why? Because God forbid you find out the Bible is your book. The greatest history on the face of the earth is actually a black man's history. You might put that knife down, man. You might leave that gang alone, man. You might start to follow your God, and guess what? Get the kingdom of heaven, man. And guess what? Many nations don't want that. Many nations don't want that, man. Many nations don't want you to find out you are the real Israelites. They don't want you to find out that this Bible is talking about you, man. Exodus is talking about you. You mean? Read on.
Redeeming the time, because the days are evil.
And then, man, you gotta redeem that time, man. For so long, we've been lost. And guess what? Redeem it now, man. Wake up to who you are. Follow the laws of God. And guess what? Wake up more blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Now, I'm gonna get into a book. Many people think Africans sold their own people, and that is a lie. That is historically inaccurate. Africans sold Israelites. Africans sold Jews that was living on the west coast of Africa. And we got the history. We're going to read it from you in a book called, if you show the front of the page, from a book called Into Egypt with Ships. And they're going to go into history and show you that Africans did not sell other Africans. Africans sold Israelites, Jews that was living in Ghana, Nigeria, Benin, etc. Read that for me.
Page 45. Transatlantic slave trade that followed. Millions of Semitic black Jews.
Hang on now. Even historians know it says millions of Semitic black Jews, man. Meaning what? Africans didn't sell other Africans. Africans sold millions of Shemitic black Jews, man. That's what we are. We're not African, man. Africans sold Israelites that was living in the west coast of Africa. And they sold millions of Shemitic black Jews. That's history that they don't want you to know, man. They want you to believe that you're African. But guess what? Africans sold Jews that were living on the west coast of Africa.
That's right.
Read.
Millions of Shemitic black Jews settled in the lands of the black Hamitic nation.
Yeah, man, we settled in their land. We settled in Ghana, Nigeria, and many other lands of Western Africa. We settled there, man. But guess what? We was not them, man. Even though we lived among Africans, we weren't Africans, man. We were those Shemitic black Jews that was living among them, man. Following our laws, doing what the Bible said. Read.
Dr. A.H. Godby.
So now, Dr. A.H. Godby, he's a professor on West African history, and even he knew that Africans did not sell their own people.
Right.
Africans sold Israelites that was living in the west coast of Africa.
That's right.
This is a West African man that knows the history back and forth, and even he knew Africans selling other Africans. It's a lie, man. Africans were selling Israelites that were living there. Read.
Dr. A.H. Godby correctly suggests that as strangers among the Africans.
So now we were strangers among the Africans. We was on their land, but we're not them, and we did not belong there, man. So now let's find out what happened while we was on their land.
As strangers among the Africans, Israelites would have been vulnerable to enslavement.
And there, man, because we was living on another land, we was vulnerable, man. We was weakened, and guess what? Africans rounded us up, and they sold us, man. But it says what? We were Jews living in West Africa, and Africans sold us. Why? Because we didn't belong on their land. Africans did not sell their own people, man. Africans sold the Hebrew Israelites, the children of Israel that was living on the west coast of Africa. And us not belonging on their land, they sold us to the Europeans, man. That's history that the world keeps locked down, man. That's history that people don't want you to know. Why? Because then you're going to find out that you are the Israelites, man.
That's right.
You are the Shemitic black Jews, and nobody doesn't like to accept that with Christ he was black, man.
Right.
Nobody likes to accept that the real Israelites are black.
Right.
And that's the problem. That's why they need you to believe that Africans sold other Africans, so that you can go along with their lie, that you can believe their philosophy. But guess what? In the UPK, we found it out, man.
That's right.
In the UPK, we did the research, and guess what? Africans did not sell Africans, man. Africans sold Israelites, Jews, the people of the Bible that was living in the west coast of Africa. Read that again.
Israelites would have been vulnerable to enslavement.
And there, man, the Israelites were sold by the Africans. We was vulnerable in Nigeria, in all those parts of West Africa. We was vulnerable, man, and they sold us to the Europeans, man. They sold us to the French. They sold us to the Dutch, man. They sold us to the Europeans. Why? Because we was vulnerable on their land, man. We was vulnerable on that west coast of Africa. Read.
Israelites would have been vulnerable to enslavement during wars and conflicts.
And then we had wars with those Africans, man. We had wars with them, and guess what? They sold us to the British Empire, man. They sold us to the Dutch, man. They sold us onto our enemies, like it says in the Bible. But this is the thing. Why is it that people that do research on the history of West Africa, they know that Africans didn't sell their own, but then over here, education says that Africans sold their own, man? Why is that? Why is it that historians that dig deep in the archives of West African history, they know that Israelites were enslaved by Africans, man? Meanwhile, in England, we don't know this. It's not an accident, man. This cannot be an accident. Why? Because they don't want you to know who you are, man.
That's right.
They don't want you to know that the Bible is actually a black man's history book, man.
Right.
In the Bible, the Israelites, a dark-skinned race of people, God made them walk for that Red Sea, man.
That's right.
They don't want you to know that in Exodus, God saved a dark-skinned race from another dark-skinned race, man. Look on the hieroglyphs, man. Look on the hieroglyphs. The Israelites in the time of Exodus, they was black, man. And many people that can decipher those hieroglyphs, they can even tell you that depiction there is the Israelites being enslaved by the Egyptians. And what do you see? Two dark-skinned races of people, man. Reader.
We can make two conclusions quite easily when we understand that the Israelites fled into Africa. First, the Jews' flight into Africa occurred between 66 and 70 AD.
And there you go, man. And even in history, they know when we went into Africa, man. We went into Africa. Why? Because our homeland was ransacked by the Roman Empire, man. And many Jews fled into Africa. Why? Because of Rome. And guess what? A dark-skinned race was hiding among another dark-skinned race, man. That's history that many people don't want you to find out, man.
That's right.
That guess what? Yes, Jews, which are also a dark-skinned race, hid in Africa. Why? To avoid being enslaved by the Roman Empire, man.
Right.
And we lived in Africa until we migrated to the western coast of Africa, man. And then the Ashanti tribe, the Igbo tribe, all those tribes that you love so much, they sold us to the Europeans, man. Reader.
Many years before the slave trade occurred, during this time, many Israelites would have adopted the languages, customs, religions, and traditions of the Africans.
And there, man. And guess what? While we lived amongst them, we started to live like them, man. And guess what? Those things anger the Lord, man. Those things get the Lord angry, and what happened? We got rounded up and guess what? Sent to this Western Hemisphere, man. That's why in the West Indies, we do a thing called a nine-night. And guess what? That comes from the Africans, man. Many things that you see in the West Indies, those things are not customs of the Israelites, man. Those things are customs from different tribes of Africans. Why? Because we was enslaved by them, man. And we learned their practices, we learned their ways. But guess what, black man? We are not them, man. We were the Israelites living on the west coast of Africa. And guess what? Africans sold Israelites, man. Africans didn't sell their own people. That is a lie that has been taught for way too long. And in the UPK, we bring it out, man. In the UPK, we got the history. In the UPK, we got the records. We got the archives. And guess what? We bring it out now. You know what I mean? So we got the history. Reader.
Many Israelites would have adopted the languages, customs, religions, and traditions of the Africans with whom they dwelt for the purpose of mere survival.
Yeah, man. They said to us, we can't follow the laws, man. And what happened? So many of us in Africa got weak, man. And we started to follow their ways, started to act like them, man. And guess what? In the UPK, we're teaching the word of the Lord, man. And guess what? In the Bible in Ephesians, it said to awake, man. Awake. We've been asleep for way too long, man. Black people have been asleep in that church for way too long, man.
That's right.
Black people have been asleep in that mosque for way too long, man.
Right.
Serving other nations' gods, man. Being subject to other nations, man. Being subject under other races of people. If you're a black man in the church, do you know what that really means? You're saying your oppressor is better than you. Right. And that's why you need to serve his God, man. If you're a black man in the mosque, you are saying Arabs are better than you. Right. And you need to be subject under their rule, man. Right. That's what religion means. Religion means the people of that religion, they are above you, man. And guess what? You should be under them. Right. And God forbid, man. Black people, we've been in religion way too long, man. We've made ourselves subject under so many people for way too long. And all along, we were the people that was meant to be above, man. That's right. All along, we were the people that was always meant to rule, man.
Want no cowards in our camp, that'll let their colors fly. I.S.U.P.K. 53rd Annual Lord Passover.
53rd Annual Lord's Passover is going to be held down here in Florida.
It's going down.
You're here tonight to get a chance to be righteous enough to be worthy of God coming to save you in your
That's right.
It's going down. The Lord's 53rd annual Passover.
When we say we no cowards, we stop that business. We no cowards up in here.
Book your hotels now at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites. The IHG Hotel, 301 Tucker Lane, Cocoa Beach, Florida, 32926.
Here's a lot of men down. You dealing with the men of war. We at war. I sided with the Lord.
Y'all see this?
Counter all your dishes, pots, and sports knives.
I kind of like this. This is like an apartment, and a hotel room. You know what I mean? Yeah. This here right here is about to be holy ground. It's gonna be holy ground. All our beautiful, wonderful brothers and sisters from all over the world. You understand? We can boast that now. Brothers and sisters coming not only from every state, but from all over the world. I heard the numbers this year is ridiculous. We had to buy out the whole hotel.
Friday, April 15th at the Space Coast Convention Center.
My camp undefeated. You cannot debate. You just want the clout. We just want the grace. I'm just trying to get it.
This is going to be glorious.
We don't give a fuck, you can see it in our faces. Got it out the